Hey up! Right, one thing that I'm always being asked about is whether ceramic coatings are worth it. Answering that question in the comments section is really difficult because it's such an involved explanation that I really don't have the time to be able to do it for the amount of requests on this subject that I get. So I thought I would deal with that in a video today. Now the short answer is, are they worth it? Yes and no. That's the short answer, and I'm going to try and flesh that out a little bit for both arguments now. Now, first of all, for the last few years I've been using Auto Bright Direct products. Unfortunately, Auto Bright Direct went into liquidation just after the new year this year. It was a bit of a shock to me. A few sort of viewers let me know about it. I've not been able to get down to the bottom of what happened. Now there is another organisation that I think was one of their retailers that because the products were really good, they're taking over the name and attempting to resurrect the brand. How successful that's going to be, I really don't know. I wish them the best of luck, but for now I'm in a position where I'm looking for alternative products to use on my bikes and alternative products to tell you about, because that's what channels like this do. Now this is a sort of motorcycle oriented channel, but these rules really apply to motor cars as well. In fact, I think you'll probably come across these sort of products and services more with motor cars than you will motorcycles. But I do get people sort of asking me, they're buying a new bike, the dealership's offered them this super duper service whereby the bike can be ceramic coated before they take delivery of it, but it's £200, £300, £400 and they don't know whether it's worth doing. The answer is no, it's not worth doing. You might as well just take that money and flush it down the toilet. There are better ways of protecting your motorcycle or your car. Dealership sold products are the biggest scam in the motor trade at the moment. Now this entire industry has sort of kicked off in the last 30 or 35 years. It started off with products like Diamond Bright and Superguard, and we now have the infamous GUARDX, which every motorcar dealer seems to be trying to push on people when they buy a new car. And we've got similar products that are offered for motorcycle treatment. Now, I came across these products when I ran my own body shop back in the 1990s, early 2000s. The truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter how good these products are. They give you a guarantee for the lifetime of the vehicle. Nothing that you put on your paintwork is going to last. It's going to be abraded away, it's going to be washed away. It is impossible for it to tenaciously stick to your paintwork forever. The best you can hope for is probably about a year, maybe 2 years for a garaged motorcycle or garaged car. Beyond that, it will just be gone. Beyond that, there might be some residual patches of this, this particular chemical, whichever it is, on your bodywork, but it will not be doing its job. It will have lost the properties that you're actually paying for. And when you actually read the fine print of the lifetime guarantee that these products come with, what you will realise is, if the product fails and damage is caused to your paintwork, they won't pay for the damage to your paintwork to be rectified. They will just reapply the product again for you, free of charge. So that guarantee is absolutely 100% worthless. Most of these ceramic products do give some protection against the normal elements. They'll also give you some UV protection, and ultraviolet radiation is one of the biggest damagers of automotive paintwork. But it won't give you any protection against insect strikes, and it won't give you any protection against bird droppings. They will just eat straight through it. Now, for those of you that might remember, I bought a new car 18 months ago, and I was asked if I wanted what is the leading product in the UK at the moment, GUARDX. I know the reputation, I know how these products work. I said no, thank you very much. And he said, well, you'll have to have it because we put it on all vehicles. And I said, well, put it on if you want, but I'm not paying for it. Let's just get that clear. And we had this conversation, I think, twice or three times. Now, to my dismay, I picked the car up. He gave me this nice little carry case full of products from GUARDX. When I got home, I found that he had actually invoiced me for it. I was hopping mad about this. I rang them up and complained. I did get a sort of a discount because although I couldn't prove that I definitely said no, the problem is nowadays you have to e-sign everything on your phone and you can't read it. So it had been on the original vehicle order, but I'd missed it. You know, there's a lesson to be learned in that. And get this, before I'd argued my case with them, the invoice price, including VAT, was around £650. That's an awful lot of money, and you can buy an awful lot of car care products for that, you know, during the course of 3 or 4 years, and have a lot of change left over, a lot of change. Now, I sort of assumed, you know, maybe things had come on a long way with these sort of products until I started reading the immense amount of paperwork that came with this GUARDX kit. Basically, you have to use their shampoo, which is supplied in the kit, but it's a very tiny bottle, maybe enough for a year if you're just washing it monthly. And you have to use their rejuvenator once a month, and I soon realised that actually this product was as good as dead after about 4 to 6 weeks, and it relied on you putting these products on top to give the impression that it was still working. This rejuvenator was just like any proprietary ceramic infused shampoo that you can buy at any motor factors. It is a big scam, and I've got no idea how they're getting away with it. Now, as I've already said, you know, the warranty is, to all intents and purposes, useless. It's not worth the paper it's written on. But these products can also cause problems. Now, I remember back in the 90s we had some issues with this, because when the products are pretty new on a car that's like less than a year old, if the car gets damaged in, you know, a slight accident, a scuffed bumper, something like that, it's quite difficult to get it off effectively enough so that you can do a proper paint job and repair on that paintwork. It makes the painting and repairing process much longer, which puts up the cost of the repair. And then you've got to pay somebody like GUARDX or whoever it is that sold it to reapply the GUARDX to that damaged panel after it's been repainted. So you know, you're just paying hand over fist for these products for the, you know, the amount of time that you've got the vehicle. It's going to cost you a lot more to keep that vehicle theoretically than it would be if it hadn't been treated at all, and the amount of protection that it gives, as I've said, is minimal. And the same problem applies if you get any small scratches that can be corrected by polishing, because while you're correcting those scratches, you're effectively polishing the GUARDX or whatever it is away, so it would have to be reapplied, and if you don't have it reapplied, you've lost your worthless warranty. Now, I think there's two reasons that companies like GUARDX don't fall foul of consumer law. One is automotive paintwork is far better than it was 30 years ago. I think some vehicle manufacturers now guarantee the paintwork for up to 15 years. So it's actually the superior quality of the paintwork on the car that's protecting it long term, not the product that you're putting over top of it. That is unnecessary. The other thing is, of course, the guarantee is not transferable, and most people swap the cars or the motorcycles out at about the 3 or 4 year stage, sometimes earlier. So no one ever really finds out that it doesn't work. Certainly not for the lifetime of the vehicle at any rate. Now, one final thing to consider when you're buying a new car or motorcycle and you've been offered this service is the quality of the application. That is going to dictate how long it lasts. You know, if it's done well, you might get 3 years out of it. If it's not done very well, you might only get a few weeks or a few months out of it. And this is one of the big problems with dealerships. Nowadays, they usually hire in outside firms to do the car cleaning and valeting, and they're paid per job. They're not paid by the hour. Now, they are paid an additional rate for putting these treatments on, but it won't be a big rate. And of course, it's not in their interests to spend too long on the vehicle. Quite often, the application of these chemicals is quite complicated, and they will cut corners in order to get volume through during the course of the day. So you've got absolutely no guarantees that this product has even been put on your car properly for the £650 that you've paid. Now, don't get me wrong, I do rate some of these ceramic coatings. What I don't rate is the dealership experience and the amount of money that you're getting for it, and of course the overstated claims as to how long it will last and what protection it will give. The other side of this is car valeters and motorcycle valeters, or should I say detailers. They like to be called detailers nowadays. Anybody can wash a car, and anybody can clean and detail a motorcycle. It used to be a Sunday afternoon tradition, but times have changed. People don't want to spend times, washing, waxing the cars and the motorcycles. Everybody's looking for a quick fix. And this is where mobile valeters came in. Even valeters that are situated, at a location where you have to take your car or your bike to them. They've been popular here in the UK since about the 1990s, early to mid 1990s. I think in America they were going a lot longer than that, but obviously because of the difference in the affluence of the two societies, we caught on here in the UK a little bit later than the Americans did. But like I say, what these guys are doing is not rocket science. Admittedly, there is an amount of skill. They do learn which are the best products to use. They do learn the best processes for doing it, more so than we would that just do it, every weekend or once a month or whatever. And they've got the equipment to do it more efficiently, but they've got to make money. Cleaning and detailing motorcycles and motor cars is time consuming, and they've got to find a way of extracting as much cash out of that job as they possibly can, simply to stay afloat. So the whole process has become sort of more convoluted and sort of sectional than it's ever been, as they've created reasons to do certain things and use certain chemicals to make a better job of it than we would previously have thought was normal. Over the years, they've made the process more complicated than it really needs to be in order to justify the prices that they have to charge to stay afloat. Really, we should be sort of glad of that, because it has created a lot of products like ceramic coatings that otherwise we probably wouldn't have had. Your average chemical company that makes cleaning chemicals now offer a huge range compared to what they did 30 years ago, and it's all the better for it. Car care chemical manufacturers have responded to what valeters want in order to be able to up the prices of the services that they offer. And one of those services that they offer is, of course, ceramic coating of vehicles on used vehicles. And this is another money spinner for them. Usually they'll quote up to 6 years protection for the better kits, often about 3 years protection for the mid-range kits. From what I can gather, the prices are generally not as high as what you would be charged at a car dealership for a new car, but there are lots of complications. For a start, it's a used vehicle, so it'll have had years of polishes and coatings put on it, which all have to be taken off before they can treat it with this ceramic coating. Also, There'll be lots of defects on the car, you know, contaminants that are etched into the paintwork, scuffs, scratches and dead paint, which will stop them from making a proper job of this. So they have to provide a much wider service for application of these products. They have to prepare the surface of the paintwork appropriately to accept the ceramic coating, which involves usually machine polishing. Now, your average motorcar or motorcycle manufacturer will put enough paint on there to withstand 2, maybe 3 light to medium machine polishes for you know, defect rectification. Beyond that, you're skating on thin ice. You don't know what the history of the vehicle is, and what they're actually advocating is partial destruction of your paintwork in order to protect it. So, you know, how you rationalise that in your mind that it's a good thing is up to you, but I would say it's the wrong direction to go in. With the best will in the world, I'm not having a go at these guys, but they are not paintwork experts. They are experts in cleaning vehicles. They don't know what is involved in the application of paintwork, how thick it is. Most of them have just had like a 1 or 2 day course. Sometimes it's only half a day. But ultimately, the processes that they carry out to rectify the paintwork before application of ceramic coatings is actually in itself bringing down the longevity of your vehicle paintwork, the shortening its life. Because the thinner that paintwork gets, the less resilient it's going to be to the elements in protecting your bodywork. Right, so that's the cons of ceramic coating motor vehicles. You know, the bad end of it, the evil side of it as far as I'm concerned. But it's not all negative. Actually, I think ceramic coatings are very good. Compared to more traditional coatings like carnauba wax. Now, these usually come in either a paste form in a flat tin, like a shoe polish tin, or they'll come in a liquid form in a bottle. These have been the mainstay of keeping vehicles in decent order and slowing down the degradation of the paintwork for decades. But I do think that ceramic coating has now replaced those. But only in the context is that it lasts a bit longer. It's not a permanent solution. You will usually get 6 months, maybe a year out of consumer aimed ceramic coatings, but they are much easier to put on than wax. They're much quicker. They're not particularly costly. I've been doing a little bit of research, and mainly the spray type ceramic coatings, which you know, you or I can put on quite easily, cost about £15 a bottle, and in that bottle you'll probably have enough to last you several years of treatments every 6 months to a year on a motorcycle. Car maybe a little bit less, because obviously you've got a larger surface area. Now, these were originally designed for the valeting industry itself, because, you know, valeters or detailers wanted something which was quicker and less problematic to apply to vehicles so that they could maximise the profit. And of course, it just makes sense that the companies that have created these chemicals have now made them available to the public. There are lots of different brands available. It's up to you to do the necessary research online to see which are rated the best. I've actually got some coming now. I used the Auto Bright Direct hard coat in the past, which I'm very impressed with, but obviously I can no longer get that. So I am now looking at a turtle wax product. I've ordered some in. Now, Turtle Wax were sort of resting on the laurels for decades, I think, but they've recently rejuvenated the brand and brought out a spray-on product which is very highly regarded by valeters. And as I say, these new chemicals were designed to maximise profits for valeters, so they are pretty much as good as a valeter can supply you with, but with realistic results. They only guarantee that it will last up to 6 months, in some cases a year, which is it really any great hardship to just quickly apply a spray-on ceramic coating which takes 10 minutes on the tank and side panels of your bike once every few months. Do it in spring and then again at autumn before putting it away, and the bike is well protected. Now, these are obviously, they have a longer longevity than waxes, so they are a better product. They give maybe slightly better protection, but it does last longer. But you should always consider these chemicals to be, or coatings to be, semi-permanent. They're not something that you can just put on vehicle paintwork and then that's it, you'll never have to touch it again, because this is what a lot of people have been conned into thinking they can have, and you can't. As I discovered with GUARDX, it doesn't last that long. They rely on you constantly buying resupplies of products to top it up and keep it going. So, you pay through the nose in the first place, and then you're continually paying through the nose buying chemicals from them to keep their products going in order to keep your warranty valid. It's a crazy situation. I used to enjoy waxing, my motorcycles and my car, but it is a long, hard, time-consuming job. These new chemicals make it much easier to get really good, long-lasting results. But most importantly, they don't make any false claims and they don't break the bank. I think they represent the best value for long-term protection of paintwork, chrome, stainless steel, plastics, whatever you want to treat on your bike or your car, for no more than the cost of a decent quality carnauba wax. And the beauty of these things is you can make them last longer by using ceramic infused shampoos or sealants. I think it's the best way to go, but there's no doubt about it, these dealer supplied ceramic coatings are just one big scam intended to separate a fool from his money. Right, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this and my other videos, and in doing so helping to support this channel. I really do appreciate it. I'd also appreciate it if you would leave a like, hit the hype button if it's available to you, and consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. Now, I am going to be coming back with some of these products this summer, so sort of advise you which ones to go for and which ones to avoid. There are other ways you can help me out in the production of these videos by signing up to my Patreon page, making PayPal donations, or using the super thanks button down below. Not essential, but it is appreciated. I will of course be back on Friday, so until then, please ride safely and I'll see you soon.